Hello, my lovely audience. So this is What If Deku was Spellbinder, and for a little background information, Spellbinder is a villain from Batman Beyond. So look him up, kind of cool. I'm gonna explain what Deku is gonna have as a quirk, and his quirk is gonna be, it's gonna be called Sense, I would say, or Senses, or something. I'll put in the comments of what kind of name you would give this. Basically, he can completely mess with your senses. It's going to be starting out very weak, as in he can make people hear like auditory sounds and hallucinations like that. Basically, he's going to make people hallucinate just by looking them in the eyes. And that's kind of how it's going to work. Like, let's say, for example, that Deku, and how he would discover this is he would look Bakugo in the eyes and kind of think by accident, because it's basically transferring information to another person. So he would be trying to say Baku to stop in like I guess All Might fashion or something, because he would be a kid, and I would say that Bakugo would like turn around wondering where the sound came from and not knowing where it came from. And he would have like other instances where this happens, and I'd say his mother would get curious as like why she hears things, and being discovered that, oh yeah, you don't have any problems, and Deku having a quirk that no one knows what it is and all that, they kind of think maybe we could do a test after about 2 years of this going down. And I'm gonna touch a little bit more on what the quirk does. Basically, he looks into a person's eyes. They then are kind of like under his spell, because he's able to relay information to their senses and mess with them. So create things that look so lifelike around them, like zombies really coming at them, make them feel the sensation and completely everything. But all of it's not real. So this is really messed up, at the same time really hard to control. I would say that it only works on one person at a time too, to give it a type of, like a bit of a, what's a good word for it, like a nerf on it, I guess. And I'm going to say that he's going to really need a workout on this quirk. And I would say that Deku works it out a lot. Like he, I think people would say women would say he's got you under your spell or something, under his spell. And yeah, I think a lot of people would find Deku's quirk kind of creepy. And I would say Deku's he wouldn't be a fan of All Might so much, but he'd be more of a fan of a Eraserhead, because his quirk allows him to erase quirks, and they kind of got like something similar with the ocular eyes and stuff. And he would kind of like Eraserhead more and want to be kind of like him. But at the same time, the quirks are kind of completely different, but at the same time very interesting, if that makes sense. Now, as for Deku, I think he'd have a lot more friends, and they'd kind of get him more active, and he would definitely be using his quirk a lot. I think that when he actually really works out, and he wants to become a hero a lot, so I would say when he works it out enough, he finally gets it to the point where he's able to create, quick flashes of of a person or something, like illusions for like a quick second or something. Or, I would say make people hear complete voices and maybe a phantom touch almost. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, and it takes a lot out of him. It gives him a bit of a headache if he uses it too much, but he would keep on doing it and continuously doing it. And I would say that his mom would very much want him to she wouldn't mind having him use his quirk on her, just so he can try and test it out more. But yeah, Inka would be really loving and really supportive and wanting him to become a good hero, so she wouldn't mind too much. Now, as for let's see here. I'm gonna say that Deku. I'm gonna say that Deku would be. Damn, he'd be really overpowered with this. I'd say that when he gets to 15 and the Sledgehammer comes around, he looks the Sledgehammer in the eyes and makes an All Might kind of sound, like I am here, from behind him, and the Sledgeman would immediately freak out and turn around. That's when Deku would just bolt, just fucking Hussein Bolt that shit, and just run. And immediately, I would say he would get away, because I would say that Deku would also have added a kind of like a fake, like a phantom touch of getting punched by All Might, so he would try and make it feel as real as possible. And the Sledgeman would really, like, I would say he would gag in pain, because it feels like he's getting hit. And then I would say that's when All Might comes in and kind of like bumps into Deku and sees the Sledgeman behind him and punches the Sledgeman. And I would say the same thing happens with Deku wanting to, like, he grabs onto All Might's leg, because he would still be, like, he wouldn't be thinking that he would have the ability to become a hero with his quirk. Like, it doesn't seem like he would be able to. Some people would still call him a villain, or not still, but, you know, some people would call him a villain because of how his quirk is. And some people wouldn't, and say he would be a great hero and stop some villains, but at the same time, he could be very villainous. And I would say that All Might says it's all about how you use your quirk. If you choose that you want to become a hero, I don't see why not. And I would say that he would also see the scarring and all that, and he would explain his quirk, and I think All Might would really kind of feel bad, but at the same time want to support him in a way. And then I would say that Deku, when he gets to when Sledgeman attacks again, because Bakugo and crap, I'd say that Deku, when he gets over there, he would immediately rush in and use his quirk again, but this time, like, go a bit beyond his limits and create a realistic version of All Might as in his place, like hide himself and replace himself with All Might, and immediately punch at the Sledgeman, and people would be wondering what the hell's going on, but the Sledgeman would react hostile and would jump out of the way, trying to get out of the way, and immediately drop Bakugo. And in the wake of just trying to get away, I would say All Might would come in and smash the Sledgeman, and show that, and be amazed that such a kid had such the will other than all these other heroes, and use his quirk in a way to subdue a villain without even actually laying a finger on him, really. And yeah, I think Deku would then be pass out from the migraine or headache he would really have, and just be sweating. By the time he wakes up, he would wake up in a ambulance, just kind of like with an ice pack on his head and a blanket on him. And I think the heroes would thank him and say that just don't do that again. But he has like, they would ask him what his quirk is, and when Deku explains it, they'd be like, that's a really powerful quirk. I wish I had something like that in, like, hostage situations and stuff like that. If you could make yourself invisible, that would be very, very useful. And I think that would Deku would immediately think about that and try and make himself invisible using his quirk. And for the 6 months of training, I would say that Deku would also get One for All, because All Might would have been, like, in the anime. And I would say that Deku would definitely accept. And with the ability that he's already got some physical training, he would be, I would say he would finish in 3 months, because he would actually have some physical training, and he would want to back up, like, some of his strength with, like, he knew that his quirk, like, it wouldn't be strong enough for him to do all kinds of things. Like do everything, really, if that makes sense. Now, his quirk does get buffed up a ton, and I would say that he does learn how to use full cowling a bit. Like, he learns, like, how it kind of works, and I would say that this time it works a lot differently, and Deku is able to completely use, like, full, like, completely just mess with the person's senses. Like, he can black them all out, make people not feel anything, not see anything, not hear anything, but that takes a lot out of him. So instead, he's going to create a lot of illusions, and one he created where someone was able to, I would say he would create an illusion of zombies attacking All Might, and All Might kind of getting spooked out by this. And I would say he would praise Deku for having such a unique ability, and it's going to be hard for him to get into UA because of how interesting this ability is. So I would say they would call in a favor to Nezu to ask him if he can get a recommendation to get Deku in. And for Deku, I'd say that when he gets in, I would say that he has to just do the writing and then the physical exam and then a different exam just to show off his quirk. And I would say that Araka would be a lot. I would say she doesn't get crushed by the 0 pointer because I think another hero would see it. Like, there's no way she was gonna get crushed. Like, seriously, there's no way. Otherwise, there would be so many problems with that school. So yeah, she would have been saved, and Deku, I think he would pass with flying colors on the recommendation, the written exam. He would pass that before, because he would have a lot more time to study. And I would say that he would also, for the physical exam, he would do as well, really good as well, because he would have so much time to train. And when he does the the quirk like assessment on what he actually has as a quirk, he terrifies the person who's doing the test. I would say that the person that's doing it is a I'm gonna say that the person doing it is what was it? I'm gonna say it's Snipe. Because why not? You know what? No. Who would do it? Let's see. I'll say because I really don't know. Like, I'm gonna say Aizawa, and I'm gonna say that Deku immediately goes invisible with his quirk, and it's all about just like trying to show off the quirk and see how good it is. No, because Nezu was this was a personal favor. I would say that Nezu himself would want to see how this quirk works in action, and when Deku uses it, he's freaked out. He's freaked out by how powerful and unique of a quirk this is. And at the same time, it could be used for so many things, and he's amazed that such a person wants to become a hero, and becoming a villain with this kind of quirk would make him so infamous. Like, he would be a number one villain. Like, he would be the number one villain if he used this quirk against people. So yeah. And I'm going to say that when Deku gets in, he would get into Class 1A, and when he gets in on that day, and he's obviously going to be accepted because it would be told right there, and Deku would be praised by his mom and pretty much by a lot of people. And I think no one really would be mad at him when he said he would go to UA too. So yeah, he'd be really happy. He'd have a pretty average life, except that his quirk is overpowered as all hell. Let's be honest. And I'm gonna say that Deku would this is kind of like what he would have as his hero suit, and it would definitely give anybody a headache if you looked at it for too long. And kind of like come up with this kind of I would say that he would come up with a let's see here. I wouldn't say he have that eye or whatever, but I would say that he would have like holes in like the mask just so he could see, like slits where he could see with his eyes, but also have like protection on his eyes so that way no one can like get his eyes irritated or whatever. And have some protection in this suit, and also make it very breathable, because it would be a pain in the ass to breathe through something like this. It would look like this, really. And just imagine the oranges bright green. And yeah, so Deku would be powerful as all hell. Yeah, that would be his hero suit. Now for the Aizawa's little when he gets in the class, I would say he would see Bakugo and Bakugo would see him and he would just be like, "Oh, it's him again. Great. This useless quirk kid, whatever, Deku." And I would say that Deku would immediately I think he would immediately go up to him and say like, "You made it too. It's amazing, all that." Let's see. I think Deku would. What would he do? I would say that he would. A lot of people would be wondering what his quirk is because he. No, I would think everybody would be wanting to meet everybody, and I think Ida would probably go up to Deku, see what he's probably writing, because Deku would still be analyzing people's quirks and all that, and making all these analyzing stuffs and all that about quirks. And I would say that Ida would see it and be amazed and wonder what his quirk is, and when he tells Ida what his quirk is, he'd be impressed. But also explain that he has another quirk that he didn't know about until recently when he was actually training his body. And that was that he can enhance his strength a bit. But he can't really do it too much, otherwise it hurts his body a lot. Like, it can cause damage. No, I would say... Yeah, I would say that it's, like, really hard to control, really. Like, how much strength he can use. And I'm going to say, for the last part, I'm going to say for the, when Aizawa finally does the, assessment, the physical exam, when everyone's doing it, I think Deku gets, like, pretty solid grading. Like, he stays in, like, I think the top for a lot of it, and uses his Spellbinder quirk. And I would say that the quirk's name would be Spellbinder. And, yeah, I think that he would use his kind of quirk to kind of, like, he would look behind him and mess with a few people to kind of, like, slow them down or something. And I think mess with Ida especially, using the reflection of his glasses or whatever to kind of, like, look into his eyes. And, yeah, it's really broken, let's be honest. So, yeah. And kind of just like make him see zombies or something. I'm also going to say that when he uses full cowling, he's able to target multiple people with his Spellbinder quirk. And I'm going to say that Deku, is going to be, I think Mineta would be dropped immediately, and Kendo would join the the class. So yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, this is looking good. Now for, I would say, the, what was it? The heroes versus villains. So, I'd say that Deku is going to be very, very powerful. And who is he going to have as a teammate? Well, I'm going to say, I'll say, not Kendo. I'll say, maybe, you know what, I'll save that for the next part. So yeah, Mineta gets dropped. A lot of people are wondering what Deku's quirk is. They ask him about it, and he tells them. And the ball throw, he does really good. And yeah, so yeah, Deku as Spellbinder, I guess. What if Deku was Spellbinder? So yeah, have a good day and a good night. Peace out.